Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and welcome back to the TRISTAR. Today we are doing a flight that's been requested by our first class channel member Jose, who asked if we could fly the former Delta Flight 53 from Atlanta to Honolulu. Now that flight is the perfect fit for this fantastic aircraft at about 8 hours and 30 minutes trip time, so let's get right into this one and prepare for one of those super long domestic flights that you can only do in countries like the US or Russia. Okay, let's get into this one and board our TRISTAR through the two left door, and then we can make our way up to the front. Now, fantastic business class over here, really can't overemphasize that. But just look at how times have changed. Like nowadays this would be premium economy, like at best. Back then this was business class, you paid easily a month of salary for a ticket over there. And well, just see how things have changed now. So follow me into the flight deck of our TRISTAR, and then we can get started with a little bit of a setup down there. So the standby power is gonna go on, and the unarmed light is illuminated, the flow bar is illuminated, then we can turn the battery on and we can turn the external power on. Now let's take a seat on the engineer's panel over here and start with a bit of a setup tour. First of all, we are gonna bring all those lights up down here like this, and then let's have a look into the fire extinguishers, because we want to get that APU running as it's really hot outside here. Alright, and the extinguisher test is looking good, including the short circuit. Fantastic. Alright, then we do have fuel in the system, and then let's turn on the APU master switch. Min mode is good, and APU starter, here we go. So, in the meantime, we are running on the external power over here, waiting for the APU to start. And while we're doing that, let's go up front and switch the IRSs into a line, 1, 2, and 3. And then we can take a seat on the captain seat for the first time on this flight, and just run down into the paper flight bag and download our flight plan. Now, from here, let's go right down into the charts, Atlanta. And Navigraph charts are enabled, and then we are looking for the airport chart, for the parking gates, and also for the parking gate coordinates. Now, let's go ahead and have a look at where we are parked. We are in... of course it doesn't say the gate number right now when we would need it. We would have needed it, but anyway, we're down here on Tango 1. So let's go ahead and get our coordinates. Red course, concourse Tango, that's 3338.3 north. 3338.3 north, and then the west coordinate is 8426.5. Okay, so that's set. Then let's do the same on this side. So, north, 3338.3, is that correct? Yes, it is. Okay, 3, and west, 08426.5. Like this. And last but not least, we're gonna do the same down here on our third unit. So 3338.3, insert, and west 08426.5. Insert. Alright, with that our units are going to start aligning now. And we can see that the alignment process is already in the works down here. Then let's go for GSX and request some catering service over here, so that our airplane can get some nice foods for the way over. And then we are done with our IRS setup for the time being, so let's return back to the engineer station over here. So, emergency power can be armed, and the emergency lights are also going to be armed. No smoking signs coming on, we're still waiting for the refueling, so we are not going to turn the seatbelts on yet. Okay, so the APU is running, and then let's go ahead, turn on the bleed air valve and APU into norm mode. And then I just want to be sure that all 3 packs are operating from that APU like this. Alright, fantastic. So the cabin is now cooling nicely. Then we can go right back up here and start with a look into the flight plan. For that, let's quickly use our SimBrief paper flight plan, respectively the SimBrief PDF flight plan, because I just find that one, you know, a little bit easier to use over here. So, here it is. Now, this is our route of flight. Departing from Atlanta, heading slightly northbound and then directly westbound towards San Francisco before we are going southbound onto the Pacific Ocean all the way to the Hawaiian Islands. Our significant weather chart is fairly clear. You can see that's the reason why I took the slightly northern route, which is 6 minutes longer than the optimized time track, but it takes us right around the area of CBs there, and the other side over in the Pacific is pretty good. Now, for our weather, let's have a look. Lots of SIGMATs over here, as is normal for this time of the year, and then we are departing Atlanta 270 at 18, gust 24, thunderstorms, kinda all standard stuff for this time of the day. And then Honolulu is forecast to look pretty good, actually. A couple of showers in the area, little gusts down the runway, but overall everything looking fantastic. Our outlet in Kaului is the same thing, so that's okay as well. Now, looking at our departure, we are departing Atlanta at 16:25, arriving 25 minutes ahead of schedule in Honolulu. Flight level 340 is the planned cruise level, and if we look down here, then 150,000 pounds of fuel are going to do the job just fine. Okay, so 150,000 is decided then, so let's go ahead and start with the rest of our pre-flight procedures over here. Okay, so back to the engineer station, and then we got a system setup to do. So let's start on the top side over here. Brake temperature system test is good. Wheel well fire test is good. Then we got the engine turbine cooling air test, which is good. The nacelle pilot and overheat detection test is good. We've already done those over here. Then let's turn on the AC hydraulic pumps and the power transfer units. And we want to see the pressure rising in each of those systems, and that is the case. Very good. Then we can move down to the electrical system, where we can turn on one of the galley power buses over here. Now we can close the APU generator already, and then we move further down to the fuel system. Over here, let's turn all of those on to verify that they're all working. And that is looking good. Quantity test is looking good. Fuel used reset. And then let's turn them all back off again, except for one pump from which we are running the APU. Down here everything's set. That is looking good. Then let's start with our vibration tests. I'm sure this is one of those tests that take a lot longer in Flight Simulator than it would in the real world, just because in the real world you would simply use both hands, one for the selector knob, the other for the test knob, and then you could basically do all of that at the same time here. But okay, anyway, that's now selected. Then let's go further down. Our flight number is going to be 53. So Delta 53, and it's the second leg of the day for the aircraft. So let's make sure that that is selected. Then we can do the cargo fire test. Then we can do the smoke detector test. Moving further up, we got the oral warnings. That's all looking good. The slab monitor is coming on. Then we're moving on to our air condition panel. So starting down here, field elevation is at 1,000 feet. That's perfect. 340 is pre-selected. Now we don't have a QNH just yet. When we get it later, we are going to reselect that. Then let's do the area overheat tests here. We got 7 lights on this panel, 2 up there, 1 down here. That's looking good for system A. Now let's do the same for system B. And this is looking good again as well. Alright, so that's deselected, and then we're done on the Flight Engineers panel. So let's move right back into the captain seat and start with the panel scan flow over here. So starting on the top on the overhead panel, we got the light test. And that is looking fantastic over here. Then the master radio buttons are going to come on. Down here everything is set. We're going to keep the windshield off for the time being. Voice recorder is tested. Engine ignition A is correct. And then stall warning test is looking good. And going on to the side over here, anti-skid test is looking good as well. Alright, going up to the light, position light is on, and the fasten seatbelt sign stays off for the time since we are still to receive our fuel. So, instrument comparator tests, looking good. AFCS warning tests, looking good. AFCS mode test is looking good. In the meantime, catering is completed, so let's request boarding. Then the QNH is to be confirmed. Max indicator reset looks good. We can turn on our DMEs. The flight directors, we can select them into toga mode. And that is good. And then let's move over to the right hand side, where we got once again the AFCS modes, the AFCS warning, and the instrument comparators. All looking good, alert light going out, and the rest is set. Alright, then let's move down to the pedestal and start getting our charts and the frequencies for today's departure. Okay, starting with Atlanta clearance on 118.1. Here we go. Then ground for runway 27 is going to be on 121.75. Like that. Then let's make sure that we've got the transponder selected. We can tune 21.5. Over there, and then let's get the departure ATIS frequency. Or at least I would if the... Here we go. Simulator, let me move my chart. 125.55. And that's now set. So, transmit on VHF 1, listen to 1 and 2. Turn those volumes up and the interphone as well. Over here everything is good. Over here we want that same stuff. Then let's also turn the brightness selectors up over there, and then we got a couple more on the sides over here. And finally over here. Okay, good. So with that, our airplane is basically ready for everything except for the navigation. So let's start the entire navigation setup by getting our ATIS.
SC on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Read back all runway.
That's 125.55, isn't it?
Advise on initial contact. You have information, Charlie. Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International Airport. Information, Charlie. 1928 Zulu. Arriving runways 26 right, 27 left, 28. Departing runways 27 right, 26 left. Wind 230 at 5. Visibility 10. Few at 3000, few at 11, 1000, scattered at 15, 5000, broken at 20,000, broken at 25,000. Temperature 28, dew point 19er. Altimeter 3007. Density altitude 2600 feet. Rubber removal ongoing. expect brief delays near the helicopter pad. Advise on course heading.
Okay, fantastic. So the Atus is on board, the QNH is 3007. Like that, and that equals 1018 for our standby. And the right hand side is synchronized, and then 3007 shall be set up here as well. Okay, good. So back up to the front. And then we can get our IFR clearance, and then we also know which standard instrument departure to expect. So delivery is selected there. Atlanta delivery, Delta 53 Heavy, information Charlie, request IFR clearance to Honolulu. So, something to write. Would be nice if we had a little notepad or something in here where we could write clearances and stuff down, but unfortunately don't have that.
Cleared to Honolulu via the cut-in 2 departure, then as filed. Climb and maintain 10,000. Expect flight level 34010 minutes after departure. Departure on 121.225. Squawk 6372. Expect runway 27 right.
Delta 53 Heavy is cleared to Honolulu by the Cut-in 2 departure, climb maintain 10,000. Expect level 340 10 minutes after departure, departure frequency 121.225, squawk 6372, expect runway 27 right.
Delta 53 Heavy, read back correct.
Okay, fantastic. So our clearance is on board, Cut-in 2 departure. Let's have a look at that one. So, Cut-in 2. It's unfortunately an on-off departure, but Atlanta only has on-off departures nowadays. Back then, we would have something VOR based, of course. Now, you can see this one is on-off 1, DME, IRU, or GPS required. We don't have that. And radar required for non-GPS equipped aircraft. Well, we are gonna need the radar anyway. Now, I am just going to go for that nonetheless down here. Just so that we, you know, can fly something. In the real world, we would have had the... VORs for our navigation. In the sim, we are gonna have the INS for that one. We'll just pretend that it would be allowed here. That's a little compromise that we gotta make. So, let's go ahead and put those all into remote control, and then we can start with our setup. So we start with the first waypoint. For that, let's get our flight plan. For real. Okay, better. Here we go. So we're going to start with SLAW as waypoint number 1. That's 33381. And 84395. Alright, then we continue towards WEZAC, and that's gonna be 33381 and 84438. Then we continue on towards Cotton, 33491 and West 85121. Alright, and then on to Hanko, and that's the last waypoint of the SID at 3353. And the west coordinate 85389. Alright, now from there on we will have to make a couple of compromises there, because time acceleration isn't working quite right yet in the TRISTAR, so I'm recording this one overnight. Obviously, I'm not going to stay awake for that, so let's go ahead and take a couple of edge points here. Garden City sounds like a good one that we could take, so 3755-1. And 143.5. Like that, and then we continue on. towards Oakland. So number 6 is 37.43.6. Down here. And the west coordinate for that is 122.13.4. Okay. Then from there we are entering the oceanic point of the flight, so we're going to start with BART, and that's 36.27.7. And west 126.56.0. Alright, and then we continue all the way over towards BORT. And that's going to be 24.17.7. And west 154.15.0. Alright, and last but not least, we're gonna take Bitter, and from there we will join the arrival, so that's gonna be number 9 at 23.31.7 and 155.28.0. Okay, and with that we have as many waypoints fitted as we could. Now let's just see that those have been transferred properly. Yep, looks good over there. And looks good over here. Alright, fantastic. So then we're just waiting for the alignment process to end, which should be the case very soon. Okay, excellent. Now let's go for our let's go for our MCP. So we have no speed limit in here. Then the runway heading is 275. Like that. The same is going to go into the courses. And the initial climb is 10,000. Okay, fantastic. So with that, our setup is completed. Then let's just put the altitude reminder over here. Let's make sure that our aircraft is properly loaded. And with that, we are basically done. And look at that, our alignment process is finished. All 3 units into nav, looking good. Alright, so load sheet, sim brief import, and we wanted a tad more fuel down here. We said 150.0 loads. Okay, the fuel is on board, then let's make sure that that's entered back here. And the gross weight is now in there. Let's check the tanks. So the inboard tanks are looking good, 16.5. That's all checked, and let's see, 16.5. Okay, then we have a little bit more fuel in the center tank than in the wing tanks, but the balancing shouldn't be too much of a problem. Okay, refuel power can be switched off, and then we are basically done back here. So let's see how our boarding is doing. Finished. Lovely. So that's excellent. Then we are basically ready to go back here. So let's start with our takeoff performance calculation. So we can synchronize all those weights. Flaps 14 for the takeoff is the standard. Calculate, and that looks good. So set box and EPR. And something that I really like with the newer TRISTAR versions is that you also have the takeoff data card on this side and not just only on this side. It's really a lot more useful when it's here, wouldn't you say so? Now we are going to go into INS mode because ultimately the departure will be based on the INS. And now let's do the last cross-check over here to make sure that all the alignments have completed. That's gonna go distance time, direct 0 to 1, insert. And here is where things are going southbound. Direct 2, 0, 1, insert. And if we do that without the remote controller, that should go a lot better. Okay, so direct 2, 0, 1, insert. And yep, 10 nautical miles, looks good. Same over here, 0 to 1, 10 nautical miles. And over here, 0 to 1, 10 nautical miles. Okay, fantastic. So we know that the alignment is correct on all 3 units. Good. So with that, we're basically ready to go up here. Let's go ahead and do the safety checklists, please. So, pilot functional and V4 start checklists. Flight directors checked, instrument comparator checked, AFCS warning and mode annunciators checked, radios checked, radar checked, GPWS checked, pilot functionals complete, V4 start checklist, oxygen mark and interphone checked, MSUs aligned, compasses, MAC and sync, overhead panel checked, anti-skid checked and off, emergency lights and standby power armed. Okay, cabin signs on, AFCS panel set, flight instruments checked, annunciators checked, engine instruments checked, brake system normal, radios and radar are set, INS checked and set, throttle quadrant checked, landing gear down 3 green, trims 0. Then let's move to the engineer seat here. Fuel quantity, that's 150,000 pounds checked, oxygen mask and interphone checked, fire and overheat protection checked, electrical panel checked, battery switch on, fuel panels checked, pressurization set and normal, logbook checked, and that's the V4 start checklist complete. Alright, let's say hello to our passengers and then we are ready to go. In the meantime, we do have APU power available, so let's turn the GPU off. The galley bus is also gonna go off now because we don't have the strongest APU in here. Alright, then you can go ahead and prepare the position for pushback and departure. And while that's happening, let's say hello. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel, and in the name of Delta Airlines, I would like to welcome you all aboard of our L1011 500 on our flight to Honolulu. We're just finishing up the last paperwork, and when that is done, we will start the engines and taxi out for runway 27 right for a departure directly in westerly direction. We are going to cruise at an altitude of 34,000 feet today, and we are expecting a flight time of approximately 8 hours and 45 minutes. Now, for the time being, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us, and if there is anything we can do for you to make your flight more enjoyable, please do not hesitate to ask any of our charming cabin crew members. Finally, the cabin crew will shortly perform their safety demonstration. We do ask you to pay your full attention, as that is not just for your own safety, but also for the safety of the other passengers sitting around you. Thank you very much for being on board today. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. Okay, so, we're done up here. Then let's go ahead and start with our PMS. So, it's 1622. We have a gross weight of 455.8, so we call it 456.
Delta Airlines and the entire crew. Welcome aboard.
Okay, the fuel is 150.0 and the temperature 31 degrees. Then, let's see, bottom of descent distance.
If you require any assistance, please do not hesitate to reach out
So 3,983, so I'm gonna call it 3,973. Then the bottom of descent altitude will be 3,000 feet, and the bottom of descent speed is going to be 200 knots. Okay, cruise flight level will be 340. And with that, we are done with our setup up here. Okay. Good, so our PMSs are set on the left side, then we gotta set the same on the right side. So 1623, insert gross weight 456, insert fuel 150, pounds, temperature 31 degrees. Then moving on, bottom of descent distance 3973, altitude 3000, and the speed 200 knots. Okay, lastly, cruise flight level 340, and with that our setup is complete. Okay, lovely. So that's all done. Then let's go ahead and get our pushback clearance, please. Well, first, before we do the pushback, let's actually quickly cross-check our... IFR clearance. So, Cotton 2 departure, 10,000. 340, 10 minutes after, departure 121.255.
Pushback approved, Delta 3127.
Like that, and squawk 6372. Alright, that's all correct, and now let's go for our pushback.
Delta 2944, runway 27 right, taxi via ramp 2 east taxi lane, Lima, Lima Alpha.
So, scheduled off-block is right now, so we're on time. Fantastic. Atlanta ground, good afternoon. Delta 53 Heavy, request pushback and startup.
We'll give way to the company 717, Delta 1420. Push and start approved. Tail north.
Push and start approved. Tail north. Delta 53 Heavy. Alright. Hey, you should be a little further than that. Okay, one left is closed. GPU is off. Remove the chocks. Close. Okay. So, now GSX should get ready, and in the meantime we can prepare the flight engineers panel. So, one pack only. And power is minimized, the cross bleed valves are on, fuel valves are on. APU in min mode. And that's it. Okay, fantastic. So, let's do the start checklist, please. That's MSUs, nav, anti-collision light on, parking brake set, electrical panel is checked, fuel panel and gross weight checked and set, APU min mode, pack flow 1 on. And that's the start checklist complete. Okay, ground from cockpit. Pushback and startup approved, tail north, so that's going to be nose left, and the parking brake is set. Roger that, release brakes. Parking brake released, and we call it off block on time. What is... I don't even want to know. Alright, ground. We'll be starting engines 3, 1, 2 in that sequence, and we'll start engine 3 now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard Delta Airlines Flight 53 to Honolulu.
Here you go. Valve open, N3,
flight time is 8 hours and
N1.
minutes. Please pay close attention to the upcoming safety demonstration, as it contains important information, even for our frequent flyers.
So, fuel on.
By inserting the metal fitting into the buckle and pulling the strap to tighten. The seatbelt must remain fastened whenever the seatbelt sign is illuminated. Please return your seat backs and tray tables to the upright position and ensure window blinds are open for takeoff and landing. Mobile phones and electronic devices must be set to flight mode, and larger devices should be securely stowed during takeoff.
Alright, we have a good start in engine 2, starting engine 1. Clear 1. Engine 1 starts.
Will drop automatically if required. Pull the mask first.
Pushback complete, set parking brake.
Ramp 4 west taxi lane, Lima, Lima Alpha.
Parking brake set.
Secure your own mask before assisting
Runway 27 right taxi.
So, N3, N1.
Lima, Lima Alpha, Delta 2104.
To use, pull it over your head, fasten, and inflate only after leaving the aircraft. Floor level flight.
Delta 731 ready for push and start.
Which is clearly marked. We have
Delta
exits
731
located
pushback
in front,
approved.
middle, and rear of the aircraft. In case of
Pushback approved.
evacuation,
Delta 731.
please leave all personal belongings behind and
Delta
follow all
2104, give way to the
safety
company
instructions from
717 on your left.
If a power bank or Any
Giving way to the
electronic
company
device
717 Delta
becomes
210.
Okay, we're good starting engine 1, starting engine 3.
immediately.
Ground,
The
Clear
Costera
3.
information
978,
card
taxi
in your
to the
seat
gate.
pocket contains all details. Thank you for
Costera
your attention.
978, taxi to parking via Bravo 3, Bravo, Victor, Foxtrot 1, Foxtrot, Delta,
And
ramp
3.
6, North Taxi Lane.
And 1.
Bravo 3, Bravo, Victor, Foxtrot 1, Foxtrot, Delta, ramp 6, North Taxi Lane, Costera 978.
Alright, and that's a good start on engine 3. So you're clear to disconnect. Please show me the clear signal in front of the aircraft and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye. So there's a tug, there's a tow bar, and there is the ramp agent with a pin in her hands. Fantastic. After start procedures. Okay, and that's all we need up here.
Flaps 10, flaps 14.
Delta 918,
So,
taxi to
trim
parking via November 2,
3
November
point-
Whiskey Lima, ramp 5, East Taxi Lane.
That's 3.1? Yep, 3.1.
November 2, November Whiskey Lima, ramp 5, East Taxi Lane, Delta 9018.
Here we go, and then off to the engineer's seat. Alright, that is looking good.
Frontier Flight 153 boarding complete. Request pushback.
Frontier Flight 153, pushback approved.
Okay.
Start Frontier Flight 153.
Delta 731, ready to taxi.
It's so hot, I'm gonna turn on all 3 packs here for the taxi.
Runway 27 right taxi via ramp
All
2,
right.
Taxi Lane, Foxtrot, ramp 3, West Taxi Lane, Lima, Lima Alpha.
But the temperatures are okay for the time being.
Runway 27 right
Alright,
taxi
fantastic.
via ramp 2, East
So
Taxi
the
Lane,
APU is
Foxtrot,
shutting
ramp
down,
3,
then we can do the
West
after
Taxi
start
Lane,
checklist.
Lima Alpha,
Engine
Delta
anti-ice off,
731.
pitot, alpha and windshield heat on, start ignition both, annunciators checked, hydraulic panel checked, electrical panel
Delta 15902, give way to the company 717 on your left.
is checked. Alright, fuel panel checked, fuel control and amplifiers, latch, non-latch, APU, shutdown and annunciators are checked, after start checklist complete. Delta 53 Heavy, request taxi.
Ground Delta 431, taxi to the ramp.
Delta 431, taxi to parking via Bravo 3, Bravo, Victor, Foxtrot 1, Foxtrot, ramp 2, West Taxi Lane. Delta 53 Heavy, runway 27 right taxi via ramp 1, West Taxi Lane, Lima, Lima Alpha.
Ramp 1 West, Lima, Lima Alpha, runway 27 right, Delta 53 Heavy. Alright, so it's literally straight out, left turn out, and then all the way
Request pushback.
to the full length.
525,
Okay,
expect taxi.
clear on the left side, and clear on the right side.
525.
Taxi and turn-off lights are coming on, park and brake off, let's go. Brake check, brakes okay. So we go straight out of the ramp, and then it's the first left into taxiway Lima.
Frontier Flight 153 ready to taxi.
Frontier Flight 153, runway 26 left taxi via ramp 5, taxi lane, Foxtrot, Echo.
Runway 26 left taxi via ramp 5 east taxi lane, Foxtrot, Echo Frontier Flight 153.
Right side's clear, left side's clear.
Delta 2094, ready to taxi.
Delta 2094, runway 26 left taxi via ramp 4, East Taxi Lane, Foxtrot, Echo.
Runway 26 left taxi via ramp 4, East Taxi Lane, Foxtrot, Echo Delta 2094.
Ground Delta 2523, taxi to the gate.
Thank you very much.
Delta 2523, taxi to parking via Bravo 3, Bravo, Victor, Foxtrot 1, Foxtrot.
So let's get a
ramp 2,
little
East
cheat
Taxi
for the
Lane.
ground speed here.
Bravo 3, Bravo Victor, Foxtrot 1, Foxtrot ramp 2 east taxi lane, Delta 2523. Delta 895, give way to
And then let's do the takeoff briefing. So we are going to depart from Atlanta today. Runway 27 right, Cotton 2 departure. And we have takeoff thrust setting of EPR 0.616, climb threading 0.471. So the takeoff speeds are going to be 148, 153, 164, and the SID is going to be a straight out departure, then a right hand turn, initial climb 10,000, and we contact departure when advised by ATC. Engine failure case, straight at 25 miles, the MSA is 3,100, so 4,000 is going to keep us safe for the way back home. 27 right is long enough that we can make an immediate re-landing, even though we are overweight. We can consider fuel dumping, however, we do have all options on the table today. The navigation is going to be fairly easy, it's all on the INS for the departure, and that's pretty much it. Do you have any questions or suggestions for our briefing? No? Alright.
Ready for push and start. Delta 2314 cleared for push and start. Roger, pushback approved. Delta
So that airport has definitely seen better days. So 3 aircraft ahead of us, but 1 is turning into the ramp, so just 2 aircraft ahead of us. Fantastic, then let's make sure that he's got enough space.
Pushback and start approved, Delta 3151.
Alright, keep taxiing please, don't stop, otherwise you're gonna lose your APU. But this is looking good. He's behind any line. Fantastic.
Delta 592 ready for push and start.
Delta 592, push and start at your discretion.
Okay, we continue via Lima to Lima Alpha, which is basically just the full length. We really shouldn't have any position markers on those charts. So, tower for 27 right, 123.85.
Start approved, Delta 1341.
Delta 1052, taxi to the gate.
Delta 1052, taxi to parking via November 2, November
Yes,
Whiskey,
pre-selected.
Lima, ramp 3, west taxi lane.
Lovely.
November 2, November Whiskey, Lima, ramp 3, west taxi lane, Delta 1052.
I just absolutely love the modeling here.
Frontier flight 3293, runway 26.
In how many airports do you have where you have that?
Lima, ramp 2, east taxi lane, Foxtrot, Echo.
Such a steep fall of the terrain there, and then something totally different down there. That's quite unique here in Atlanta, isn't it? At least I wouldn't be aware of any other airport that would be built that way. But if you guys know any, then do put it into the comments below.
737 on your right.
Giving way to the Delta 737, Frontier flight 3293.
Alright. 1 Airbus and 1 Boeing ahead of us.
Delta 53 heavy contact tower on 123.85. Have a good afternoon.
123.85, Delta 53 Heavy, good afternoon. Alright, we'll stop here. Atlanta Tower, Delta 53 Heavy, ready and sequence.
Delta 53 Heavy, Atlanta Tower, runway 27 right, hold short, you're number 2 behind the A320.
Alright, so that's an A321 and that's a 737, but good enough for me. So the first one's taking off, second one is at the holding point.
Endeavor 5423 at 26 left, ready when able.
Endeavor 5423, winds 300 at 10, runway 26 left, cleared for takeoff.
That guy has definitely had a drink too much, but as long as he can depart without closing the runway, that shall be fine with me.
Frontier Flight 153 at 26 left, ready when able.
Frontier Flight 153, winds 300 at 10, runway 26 left, cleared for takeoff.
26 left, cleared for takeoff. Frontier Flight 153, thanks.
Delta 2104, contact departure, good day.
Switching to departure, Delta 2104.
So, brake set, lights off.
Delta 907, winds 330 at 3, runway 27 left, cleared to land.
So, before takeoff checklist down to the line. Brake system checked, continuous ignition off, flaps and slats, 14, 14, and green light, step trim, 3.2 set, flight controls. Alright. Full up, full down, neutral. Full left, full right, neutral. Rudder, full left, full right, neutral. Runway 27 right, line up and wait, Delta 53 heavy. Alright, squawk machine on, radar on. So, cabin crew, prepare for departure please. So, auto brake RTO, any skid on. Continue the checklist please. So, flight controls checked, flight and nav instruments set for departure.
Winds 330 at 3, fly runway heading, cleared for takeoff.
Fly runway heading, runway 27 right, cleared for takeoff, Delta 53 heavy. Okay, takeoff data, checked and set, briefings completed, ATMs auto, APU off, cabin crew alerted. Landing and strobe lights all on. Anti-skid on, alpha heat out lights out. Transponder on and pack flow 1 on. And that's the before takeoff checklist complete. Alright, are you ready? Take off. Stabilized. Set thrust. Thrust set. $80 knots, checked. Gear up. Positive climb. Alright, select heading.
Delta 53 heavy, contact departure.
Auto departure, Delta 53 heavy. That was some lightning on the 12 o'clock. Airline departure, Delta 53 heavy on the runway heading, passing 2,600. Alright, let's start the acceleration here. Climb thrusts, 0.417. Flaps 10. And flaps 4. Atlanta departure, Delta 53 heavy, passing 3,200 on the runway heading. 121-255. That's what we got. Atlanta Tower Delta 53, please confirm the departure frequency. Okay, flaps up.
Heavy Atlanta Tower, departure is 121.225.
121-225, Delta 53, bye-bye. Atlanta departure, Delta 53 Heavy, passing 3,800, climbing 10,000. Alright, VNAV, thrust management.
53 Heavy, Atlanta departure, radar contact, climb and maintain 10,000, maintain present heading, direct slaw when able, then as filed.
Okay, climb maintain 10,000 and we'll proceed direct to slaw now, Delta 53 Heavy. Okay, autopilot on, and EPR mode is on as well, fantastic. So, proceed direct to slaw. And slaw is waypoint number 1, so that's effectively what we got here anyway. INS. Alright. Nope.
Gear up.
Here we go, gear off. That is what I've been looking for. Packs are coming on.
Atlanta departure, good afternoon, Delta 2094, 1000.
And then let's go right back here and start the fuel management.
2094, Atlanta departure, roger.
So, tanks
2094 contact, Charlotte departure on
1 and 2. All tanks 3 has more fuel than 1 and 2. So let's go ahead and make tank 3 take over everything.
Delta 525, Atlanta departure, good afternoon. Delta 525, contact Charlotte departure on 126.15.
Okay, and after takeoff checklist please. Landing gear up in neutral, flaps up and retracted, continuous ignition off, landing lights set, cabin signs on, temp propede check on, hydraulic panel checked, fuel panel checked, ECS panel checked. After takeoff checklist complete.
Delta 895, Atlanta departure, climb and maintain 10,000.
Vertical speed, speed hold.
Departure Delta 2314, 2000 for 4000.
1000 to go.
Delta 53 Heavy, climb and maintain 14,000.
Delta 53 Heavy, climb maintain 14,000. Set. Okay, VNAV and thrust management. Okay, so up to 14,000, and that is checked. So, passing 10k, release the crew. So, sights are off, then taxi and turner flights are coming off.
3 Heavy, contact Atlanta Center on 135.0.
135.0, Delta 53 Heavy.
Atlanta departure Delta 2314, 1000.
Delta 2314, Atlanta departure, good
We are
afternoon.
pleased to inform you that the use of approved
Delta
electronic
23.
devices is now permitted in flight mode.
Atlanta Center, good morning. Delta 53 Heavy passing 10,700, climbing 14,000.
Airlines.
Delta 53, Atlanta Center, good afternoon. Villarica, altimeter 3006, climb and maintain flight level 220.
Altimeter 3006, climb maintain flight level 220, Delta 53 Heavy. Okay, set 3006. Cross check, passing 11,000. Well, 10,080 now. 10,980. Okay, here we go. So we're nicely accelerating. Another look at the engineer's panel, please. Cabin.
Atlanta Center, Delta 3127 with
Climbing
you,
pretty
flight level
quickly, but is
200, climbing.
pressurizing. And over here everything is on. Alright, that is looking good, so everything is working as it should. Cabin is climbing fairly quickly, but again, that's normal for the TRISTAR, so that's quite fine with me. Apart from that, everything else is looking good, so let's start a little bit of mathematics down here. We got 24.4 plus 16.1, so that's 40.5. So we're gonna run the center pumps until we have 40.5 down there.
Delta 2901 at flight level 340.
And I am writing that one down on my flight plan right now.
Atlanta Center, Delta 629 at flight level 310.
Okay.
Atlanta Center, roger.
So that's good. With that, everything is basically done. So for now, you guys can sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight. Up here, we do have a little bit more work to do, unfortunately. But hey, that's why we became pilots at the end of the day. So you are, of course, going to go onto the IFR high daylight chart here. Zoom out a little bit. Thank you. That's looking good, isn't it? Now let's do the same on the other side here.
3127, climb flight level 240.
Climbing flight level 240, Delta 3127.
Atlanta Center, Delta 2312, com check.
Alright. Cool. So everything is progressing well. We are just passing waypoint number 3, so we could program the waypoints number 1 and 2. So let's just go ahead and do that. RMT, RMT, and RMT. Just to be sure that it keeps navigating. INS mode still on. That's good. Alright.
Delta 2200, roger. Good afternoon, sir.
So, fuel system is, of course, checked.
Delta 2944, descend 16,000 at your discretion.
Then, let's see, waypoint number 1 is gonna become... Beta was the last, so let's go ahead and select SOMO. So, waypoint 1 is going to be 2219.3. And west 15626.
Delta 2157, descent pilot's discretion, flight level 210.
Yeah, that's number 1, and then number 2 is simply going to be the destination airport.
Delta 2104, climb and maintain, flight level 240, report level.
So, Honolulu 21191.
Delta 2104.
American 1043, descent pilot's discretion, flight level
And
340.
157.55.2.
Flight level 340, American 1043.
Alright. So, then let's go back to auto.
Delta 2901, contact Memphis Center on 118.875, so long.
And that's all we need for the time being. So guys, for now, just sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. And then I see you all later on, when we start our approach over in Honolulu. And since we're approaching 180, we could just quickly set standard over here.
Leaving flight level 320 for flight level 280, Delta 1148.
Right, standard. Lights off, and the signs are off anyway, and the cabin is still pressurizing normally. Okay, so that's all looking fantastic. So, looking at the fuel down here, we are burning from the center tanks, or rather from the tanks 1 and 3.
Delta 3092, descend and maintain 16,000, expect lower shortly.
Okay. Well then guys, I'd say sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. Now I am gonna turn all the pumps back on again over here, because I am going to hand the fuel management over to our Flight engineer. So, fuel manager enabled.
Delta 2104, continue climb flight level 280.
And here we go. Now he's switching the fuel. Way should. And then, guys, sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. And I'll see you all when we start the approach into Honolulu.
For flight level 280, Delta 2104.
HSF approach, very good afternoon, Delta 53, passing 17,600, descending 6,000.
Delta 53 Heavy, HCF approach. Good afternoon, Honolulu, altimeter 3000. Expect the ILS runway 8 left approach into Honolulu. Let me know you've got information, Foxtrot.
Altimeter 3000, expect the ILS 8 left, Delta 53. Alright then guys, we are on a descent into Honolulu and we are currently following the Maggie 3 arrival. Now, the Maggie 3 took us from Bitta, which is where we left the Oceanic airspace, down towards Somo, and then via Maggie we're now inbound to Bambo. Now, technically speaking, shouldn't have an airplane symbol here, but that's currently there, so can live with that. Now, we are going to arrive at Cocoa Head, and we have planned to be there in 10,000. So we are basically just doing a standard descent over here right now, with our DME and our ground speed, which we can take from the INS over here, 400 knots. So 400 knots times 5, 2,000 feet a minute, in order to fly that standard profile. Now, let's go ahead and have a look into the approach that we are about to fly over in Honolulu. The ATIS is on 127.9, so might as well quickly listen out to that.
Flight following is requested. Read Becall runway and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact you have information Foxtrot. Daniel K. Inouye International Airport, information Foxtrot. 0353 Zulu. Arriving and departing runways 8 left, 8 right, 4 right, 4 left. Wind 070 at 17 gusting 24. Visibility 10. View at 2,500, broken at 4,000, broken at 25,000. Temperature
Delta
28,
53, heavy, slow to 240 knots for spacing, 737 max and trail.
Density altitude 1400.
Speed 240, Delta 53 heavy.
0 feet. Wake turbulence caution heavy on final approach. Advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Read Becall runway and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact you have information Foxtrot. Daniel K. Inouye International.
Okay, information Foxtrot is on board, the weather is good. And then we are approaching Cocoa Head, so let's ask him for radar vectors here. Delta 53 approaching Cocoa Head, request radar vectors for the approach.
Delta 53 heavy, turn right heading 255, vectors for the ILS runway 8 left approach.
Roger, heading 255, Delta 53 heavy. Heading. Okay, so we can have a very quick look into the landing performance over here. Our landing weight is 351,000 pounds.
Descend and maintain 3,000.
Descend and maintain 3,000, Delta 53 heavy. Set. 3,000 checked. 1,500 feet a minute here. Okay, so this is all looking good. The runway is dry and is good. Will be on and calculate. So that looks good. Let's set those bugs, please. Thank you. Okay, and then we're on the approach. So let's find that ILS chart for runway 8 left.
Delta 53 heavy, speed 190 knots or less, traffic 3 miles ahead.
Speed 190, Delta 53 heavy. Okay, speed 190, that's taking us really slow then. Okay, so the field VOR is on 114.8. Like that, 10 miles that direction. And then the ILS is 110.7 with a final approach course of 079.
Delta 53 heavy, speed 200 knots.
Speed 200, Delta 53 heavy. Okay, minimum's 214, and that's pretty much it. Okay. So, flaps 4.
Heavy, verify you're descending
check.
3000.
Relax, mate. We can either slow down or go down.
You're now beginning our final approach into Honolulu. Please turn off all electronic devices and stow them until we
Delta
arrive.
53 Heavy, maintain 3000, reduce speed as needed.
Put away. Your seats are in the
Roger.
position, and your seat belts are fastened. The weather in Honolulu is currently 28 degrees
Okay,
Celsius.
auto throttle disconnect is checked.
Assigned gate is Terminal 2, Gate 1B. Thank you for your cooperation as we prepare for landing.
Okay, so 1.7 is in there, and according to the HSI, we're just about to be in the airport, 3 nautical miles. So they're vectoring us fairly close, but
Delta 53 Heavy, traffic no longer.
right here it is.
No speed restrictions.
No speed restriction, Delta 53 Heavy. Okay, so that's our fields.
Departure on 125.0.
Over to Kaneohe Bay departure, Air Premier 152, so long.
Alright, so we got everything set up over here. Then let's do the approach checklist, please. Fasten seatbelts on, exterior lights on, altimeters, QNH 3000 checked, flaps and slats 4 degrees, red nav on radio. Smoking, no smoking sign on, fuel panel set, approach checklist complete. Alright, I guess we're gonna get base vector like once we are past here, around a 10-mile final or so. Let's do a rate of descent of 1,000 feet a minute here. Okay, for the missed approach later, climb to 500, climb the right down to 5,000, heading 200, up on Honolulu VOR radial 171. And that is pre-selected. Okay. Towards Alana, which is at 13.9 DME. Now look at how they're vectoring us perfectly along the ANAF approach here. Which we would of course have no way of knowing because we wouldn't have that position signal. That is a little bug there. I would love to be able to deselect it, but you can see it just comes back all by itself.
Delta 53 Heavy, turn right heading 275.
Right heading 275, Delta 53 Heavy. So heading 275. There's the glide slope alive. 1,000 to go. Checked.
Delta 53 Heavy, turn right heading 040.
Right heading 040, Delta 53 Heavy. Heading 040. What's my view doing here? Gotta say, this looks quite cool as well, doesn't it?
Delta 53 Heavy, 8 miles from Fig Tree. Turn right heading 050. Descend and maintain 2,200 feet until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 8 left approach.
And right heading 050, descend and maintain 2,200 until established. Cleared ILS 08 left, Delta 53 Heavy. Okay, lock armed. Well, blast slope looks good as well. ILS armed. So, lock arm, glide slope arm, approach arm.
Honolulu departure, Alaska 934.
So, 15 miles out, according to that DME.
Alaska 934, Honolulu.
Weather is no factor here, that's all on our left. We are, of course, fairly low for the procedure, but we'll just take that as intended. So, would be nice if we had info. Would be nice if we knew where the DME read 0. And whether that's at the runway or not. But yeah, look at that. 6.7 miles versus 8.9, so 2.2 miles difference. Okay, localizer alive. But just disarmed the ILS. Localizer capture. We did select that earlier, you guys saw that.
Honolulu departure, Alaska 1269, 1000.
Alaska 1269, Honolulu departure, good afternoon.
Alright, let's start reducing our speed.
Delta 53 Heavy, contact Honolulu Tower on 118.1.
118.1, Delta 53 Heavy.
Alaska 1269, contact Kaneohe Bay departure on 125.0.
125.
Honolulu Tower, Delta 53 Heavy, ILS 08 left. Okay, now it's going haywire. Autopilot off. Flaps 10.
Honolulu Tower, Roger, continue ILS runway 8 left approach.
Continue ILS 8 left, Delta 53 Heavy. Okay, here's the glide slope.
Runway 8 left, wind 070 at 17 gust.
Flaps 14, gear down. Runway 2. 08 left, clear land, Delta 53 Heavy. Okay, V approach 152. Come on, why are you not descending? Manual thrust. Catch that glide for me, please. Flaps full.
Flaps 18. Flaps 33.
Go around altitude set.
1500. 1500. 1500.
Come on, how much thrust do we need here? Landing checklist. Landing gear down 3 green. Continuous ignition off. Cabin crew alerted. Hydraulic panel set. Brake system and anti-skid checked. Flaps 33 and DLC alpha checked. Landing checklist complete. Okay, so anti-skid on, auto brake minimum. So it is a little gusty over here. this plane never stable? We were literally stabilized when I just went to the outside for 10 seconds, and all of a sudden we're completely off the glide. Welcome to Flight Simulation. Alright, and welcome to Flight Simulation even more. We're on the puppy, and yet we're completely out of the glide slope. But I'm gonna take the puppy over here. So the traffic is waiting for us. So, speed brakes up, thrust goes normal. 100 knots.
Southwest 359 and 9er. Hold short of runway 4 right.
80 knots.
4R holding short southwest.
Manual brakes. And here we go. Welcome to Honolulu.
Delta 53. Heavy. Exit at Sierra if able. Contact ground on 121.9er.
Ladies,
Exit at Sierra 121.9er. Delta 53 Heavy.
only Royal Palace in the United States. Thank you for flying with Delta Airlines. Please remain seated until we reach our final parking position.
Ground hello, Delta 53 Heavy. Request taxi to the gate.
Delta 53 Heavy, taxi to Terminal 2, Gate 1B via Yankee Zulu. Have a good day.
Gate 1 Bravo via Yankee and Zulu, Delta 53 Heavy. Good day.
Southwest 359 and 9 across runway 4 left.
Okay.
Cross 4 left, Southwest 359.
Terminal 2. One Bravo is up here. That doesn't make sense. And we are cleared via Yankee and Zulu. I'll tell you what, we're gonna go right next to the companies over there. There's somewhere in the alley over here. Say, one of the Echoes. Or loads of Deltas over there. No, why not that one? Why not that one next to the 767? Gonna be Golf 2 then? Alright, cleanup time.
Flaps 22, flaps 0.
Giant 8537.
So, start the APU, please.
Giant 8537, push and start at your discretion. Roger, pushback approved. Giant 8537.
Okay, after landing checklist, anti-ice off, windshield heat off, air data sensor heat off, continuous ignition off, anti-skid off, landing license strobes off.
Alaska 830, push and start at your discretion.
Speed brake lever forward, flaps slats up retracted, trim 0, radar and transponder
Alaska 830.
are off, electrical panel checked, fuel panel set, ECS status checked, APU on, brake system checked, after landing checklist complete. Alright, there's our marshaller. And stop. Okay, parking brake is set. Then APU is available. Alright. Radio shutdown. One, two, and three.
Giant 8537 ready to taxi. Giant 8537, runway 4 right taxi.
Okay, shutdown checklist.
Runway 4 right
So,
taxi.
engine rundown normal, parking brake on, MSUs to go, exterior lights set, standby power
Alaska 818 clear.
off, fasten belts off, max indicators checked, ATMs off, hydraulic panel tracked, battery switch on, fuel panel tracked, ECS panel tracked, shutdown checklist complete. Okay, so let's get some ground services over here and request deboarding, please. And with that, guys, welcome to Honolulu. I do hope you all enjoyed the flight with us. Now, as always, leave your feedback in the comments underneath the video. Let me show you one trick real quick here. We're looking for parking position Golf 2. Where's that? Down here, 21.19.8. So, 21.19.8 and 157.55.0. Like that, and now track change 0, direct 5. Insert. And now over here you can see the distance that your INS has drifted. 9 miles for this particular waypoint. We're supposed to do the same with the other units as well there. Of course, I did forget about it earlier on, but let's do that now. So, that's waypoint number 9 right there, 21.19.8. And 157.55.0. And then direct from 0 to 9, insert. That one's drifted 9 miles as well. And yeah, that is how you can determine the INS drift. You need to do that after every sector before shutting the units off, so that you can verify that their drift is within a certain distance, and therefore the airplane is safe to return on the flight back home. But guys, that's what I can offer you for today. I do hope you enjoyed it. Jose, do leave me your feedback in the comments underneath the video. I hope you liked this flight. As always, leave your feedback underneath, like, comment and subscribe, and if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me a Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much for watching, and then I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.